Brothers, it's release weekend for Aetherdrift. Aetherdrift doesn't seem to have a lot of excitement around this set. There's not a lot of people just crowing about it, at least not in my circle. There are some people picking up singles for their commander decks, myself included, and I'm going to go over some great buys below. But first things first, slap in those buttons, buddy. Use your button pressing fingers, mash them in an odd number of times. It doesn't help me if you mash it in twice, alright? 1, 3, 5. You get the idea. As always, thanks to the patrons and the beautiful members below for keeping me out of the hands of the Yakuza. They tried to buy this channel, there was a ninja fight, alright, I did alright, now I'm on the run. But thanks to our kind patrons, I'm able to afford some corn dogs while I'm on the lam here. So aside from these beautiful lands, the most expensive cards seem to be Riptide Gear Hulk and Monument to Endurance. The Riptide is pretty good. 2/5 with double strike is not terrible. It screws up your opponent's best permanent. Love that. All that for 5 mana. That's a Blink deck's best friend right there. It's like $9 right now. The Monument is like $7 to $8. Has that sweet value in a deck where you're discarding cards. It's not a bad artifact. In a wheel deck, this has 3 great effects that are worth the 3 mana even if you only get them to go off once. That's the once per turn. You know, that stipulation for each option isn't ideal, but it's still pretty great. And the lands are all pretty decent. $5 to $6 for these, great for 2-color commander decks, 3-color commander decks. They work great with a basic land base and are pretty colors. You know, they tick all the boxes for me. Now, Wizards likes to do these showcase cards, right? And it used to be the showcase were a little more rare, a little more expensive than the regular cards. Not with this guy, not with the Speed Demon. Speed Demon's coming in hot at $5 for a 5/5 Flampler. With at the beginning of your end step, you draw X cards, lose X life, where X is your speed. That is not terrible. It's actually pretty good. I do play Bloodghast Demon. This is better. I ain't slapping $6 down for this, but, you know, for that weird alternate art version with the purple background, pretty nice. It's like $4. Sab Sunan is kind of a ridiculous card. I'm surprised it's like $5 right now. This is the Luxa Embodied. Look at that body, dude. 3 green and a blue, legendary creature. God, it's a 6/6, has reach, trample, and indestructible. Can attack or block unless it has an even number of counters on it. 0 is even. At the beginning of your first main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then, if it has an odd number of counters on it, draw 2 cards. Is that not absurd right there? Maybe I'm just smoking crazy dust here, but this appears to be pretty nuts, man. Got them frog jugs too, man. Can't undersell that. Unstoppable Plan, 2 and a blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, untap all non-land permanents you control. I love this card. Very simple, so good in many decks. So basically, you want to slap this in decks with a commander with an activated ability. You can activate at instant speed, get at least 1 extra activation, but you're also reconnecting your defenses. Your attackers are all ready to block now, your mana dorks are all ready to go, and your artifacts are there to pour more mana into your mana sinks. $3.50 for this, it's not bad. Now this is under $2 and it's 6 mana, but it's an explosive card that you can recur. 2 combat phases, that's insane, dude. It untaps your attackers too. The art is a little goofy. Looks like Thelma and Louise out there with their pet squirrel, but these extra combat cards are usually pretty pricey. I can see this going up quite a bit. Now I keep reading this card and I'm trying to decide if it's good. The Mendicant Core Guidelight. White and a blue for a legendary artifact creature robot. It's a star 3. Power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Has start your engines. If you have no speed, you start getting speed. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. Max speed, whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, copy it. So this is 2 mana. It's a pretty nice little 2 mana commander. Seems pretty powerful. So you get 1 speed, make an opponent lose life, get 2 speed. Then you have to wait 2 more turn cycles for max speed. That's how it works, right? I'm not wrong about this. It only triggers once per turn. I read the rules. I'm trying to figure this out, man. You know, I'm trying to be a responsible commander content creator. Somebody explain to me in the comments if I'm wrong. In any case, got to get this guy out early and he's got to stay on the battlefield, but you do retain that speed as far as I know. Not a bad card. Now this card's like $1.30, Oviya automech artisan. Nice alliteration there. 3 and a green for a legendary creature, human artificer. It's a 1/2. She's on that way, Govy. Each creature that's attacking one of your opponents has trample. Has green and tap. You may put a creature or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you put an artifact onto the battlefield this way, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So it's great in those artifact creature decks too. And vehicles. Great trample enabler, has that elvish piper ability, but isn't an elf. 4 mana is not bad for this. Bulk price, it's $1.30. And if somebody attacks your opponents, they can get through with that trample too. Regal Imperiosaur. So this is great for your dino decks. Also, it's a 5/4 for 3 mana. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty cheap too. And for your Xenagos or big creature decks, the Dinosaur or Rex. It's 3 green creature dinosaur. It's an 8/8 with trample. I mean, come on, dude. Has cycling for 2 and a green. When you cycle it, put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature or vehicle. It gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. This is a fantastic reanimator target because it puts itself right in the graveyard. You can't get out of town with this. For under $1, this is great for your simple big creature decks. You can get that creepy methamphetamine version a little cheaper. I think people don't like these art treatments. I gotta be honest with you, man. I kind of do. I'm exclusively buying them because I feel like it's very flavorful. Brings me back to my childhood reading those Hot Rod magazines. And of course, a reprint here, the old Bloodghast. Black, creature vampire spirit, it's a 2/1, can't block. This creature has haste as long as an opponent has 10 or less life, has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you may return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Summoning it is easy, controlling it is another matter. Well. This had been a rather pricey card in the past, back when it had nice art. It wasn't depicting just a damn pit bull going wild out there. I don't understand what's going on in this art. Dude doesn't look like a vampire. I don't know what's happening. Now I can get behind this art treatment. It's eye-wateringly garish, and I dig that. I'm going to be grabbing that for your aristocrat decks for sure, man. Now I think this card is great. It's very cheap. It looks like Ludwig the Accursed, the Guardian Sunmare. 3 white creature horse mount. It's a 5/5. Has ward 2. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, search your library for a non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. Come on, dude. Has saddle for 4. It'll satisfy your need for steed. Well, it's like 40 cents. It's a really sweet tutor, man. But you know what? It is a bit clunky. But it fits in bracket 2 and you can grab a convoluted combo piece for your late game bracket 2 combo win, I guess, man. So as Commander players, we love setting up draw engines, token creation engines, and this dovetails with both. Thopter Fabricator is 2 and a blue, artifact vehicle, it's a 4/4, has flying. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying, has crew 2. I love this thing, man. 40 cents, very cheap. Great card in those types of decks like Alondra, Sky Dreamer, that one Zimone there. Alright, let's take a look at Aetherdrift Commander. This has some steals. Like this guy at $4. I did pick up a copy, I admit it. Rot Hulk, 5 black, creature zombie. It's a 5/5 with menace. When this guy enters, return up to X target zombie cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the number of opponents you have. Under $5 for this guy, really sweet card that has been very pricey in the past. The Scarab God, 3 blue and a black for a legendary creature god. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. It's 2 blue and a black, exile target creature card from a graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. $3.35 for God Eternal Oketra, classic zombie, well, white zombie card. Yeah! Rob Zombie is the only guy who can rhyme yeah with yeah. And $2 for this format classic, the Panharmonicon. Say it like this, Panharmonicon. Classic card, goes great in a ton of decks, man, because we love those ETBs. Immediate value. And that's it, man. That's all I got for you. Some great pickups on release weekend here. I usually scour these new sets, pick up some sweet reprints or some sweet cards really cheap, slap them in a future deck or a deck that I've got already, like that Rot Hulk is going directly into Varina, dude. That's half the fun of this channel for me, man, and I hope you dig it. I love doing these types of videos. I don't know if they get a lot of views or not. Sometimes I don't even check the views. I just put the video out and I'm like, man, that was a fun video to make and I hope people enjoy it. Check out the brass balls on these patrons. Will you hear? I'm going to scroll their names on the screen. I forgot to last video because I was drunk, quite frankly. All right? Beautiful human beings they are. They might be minotaurs. I haven't seen these guys' faces, but whatever they are, I love them. It's 2025, man. Minotaurs can have credit cards. All right? Nikki G, Better Commander, signing off.